Hello and welcome to Happy Hour. I am not your host, PTF. You can probably tell that I don't have a hat on. My beard's not as long. There's a couple of other differences I'm sure you're figuring out. I am Jonathan Kinchin, and Pete's, this Pete guy. I mean, where's he at? He said, I'm going to the UK. For what, Pete? Are you going for Royal Ascot? Yeah, you got to be a little bit more more specific on what you're going for. You just say you're leaving, but you don't say why you're leaving. But whatever, this guy's wild. If you aren't already signed up, you have a few minutes, 5 minutes to post until race 3, which is where the Horseplayer Happy Hour contest over at Horse Tourneys starts at 4:07. Currently, we're sitting at, let's hit refresh here, 246 entries. It's a $20 entry fee, races 3 through 9. So hurry, go play if you want to be involved. Obviously, you're aware of the house take for horse players goes straight to TAA and TRF. So there's a charity aspect to this situation. And there's also an opportunity to find yourself in the Saturday qualifier, which that can then lead to you having a $10,000 entry into the Breeders' Cup betting challenge. And maybe, just maybe, you can run second twice in a row like me. I thought I was going to win a couple of those times. I got to be honest with you. I did think I was going to win. And then Marshall Graham and Matt Miller had other plans for me. So race 3, let's jump in. Let me tell you what we're going to do this hour. We're gonna watch this third race that starts in 4 minutes. And we'll watch that race. We'll talk about it a little bit leading up to it. And then Pete has, he did something before he left town. He has a couple of pre-recorded interviews we'll listen to, highlighting this Breeders' Cup, kind of the history of the Breeders' Cup. We're going to be covering with horse players telling stories of fun scores and stuff. So we'll hear that. And then we'll watch race 4 together. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about some of the stuff we can look forward to coming up this weekend. And then after that, we're going to have my friend from across the pond, Vanessa Benny Riley, will come on, and we're going to talk about the win and you're in races at Royal Ascot. So we'll cover that as well. So that's what's on tap for the next hour. But as far as race 3 is concerned, I'm not playing in this contest. But if I was, look, I mean, I know you all like to make fun of me a little bit about picking favorites, but the 8 Good Rapport is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. One, the pace wasn't particularly fast last time. I understand that. And so sometimes when horses are close to paces that aren't particularly fast and they don't find themselves winning or running extremely fast numbers, sometimes you look to kind of downgrade horses like that a little bit. But I thought this horse, considering the pace was as slow as it was, ran extremely well considering the circumstances. And because of that, I think that the 8 is interesting here. The other thing in pick and pray contests, it's not, I don't necessarily have a problem taking shorter price horses. I know sometimes people try to get cute and because you can essentially is if you can pick winners and you can amass a score, you don't have to worry about someone kind of late in the game finding a way to kind of just play a number on you. And so pick and praise, I have no problem taking short price horses in pick and praise. If it's not the 8 Good Rapport, who I thought ran extremely well, even though the figure wasn't that fast. It's hard to run fast figures on the turf if the pace is slow. The other one that I thought was interesting, I guess a 6 is a little bit interesting stretching out. I just prefer an inside draw for a horse that's stretching out. Let's see here. I don't know. I mean, I guess the 1's a little bit interesting, but look, I mean, the horse hasn't won in a very long time. He's had a ton of opportunities. Non-winners at 230, non-winners at 225, non-winners at 225, 20. I mean, I don't know. I don't need that horse. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go with the 8 here. Good rapport. Feel free to ask questions and stuff. We'll have some time for questions prior to this race. We got a minute to post. They're still in the dirt. They got to work their way over to the turf course. And then we'll talk a little bit about the next race as well. So throw in questions. Let's see. Face better. So someone is interested in the 9. You're right, Billy Blake. You are right. Exactly 4 weeks until the Spa. I am looking forward to that. The 9, George Weaver. George Weaver going to have one running over at Royal Ascot. Looking forward to that. And his wife, Cindy, if you weren't aware, had that accident. I guess it was last summer. Last summer had the accident and is going to be making the trip as well. So it's great news to see George getting over to Royal Ascot, but it's even better news to see Cindy joining him on that journey. The 9, Provision. Let's see here. Okay, George started the horse on the turf, maiden special weight 3 times in a row, and the horse didn't get fast numbers, but ran okay all of those times, and then ends up catching. Tries the dirt, comes back to the turf, gets a little time, runs for 40 and wins on the dirt, comes back to the turf down at Tampa, runs well. Yeah, I've got no problems with the 9 at all. You've got no problems with the 9 at all. And George will get one ready for you. Let's see here. What do we got? Let's see if there's any questions. I don't know how Matt Bernier does this by himself all the time. I like it when Pete takes up a lot of the conversation. Thought 5 was also an interesting price, improving. Blinkers off. Let's see the 5. Let's see. Mama Banned Me. Tom Morley. Was that pace fast? So my only issue with that last race that you're talking about, May 13th, is the pace was fast. So I just don't like horses off of setups, off of great trips, and I feel like that horse got a great trip. I wouldn't be shocked by any means if the horse were to win, but I feel like the horse did get a little bit of a setup. Rob, okay, yeah. Picking James Henry. Is that the Man in Black? I did not hang out with George Clooney in Italy. Was he there? He's a Lake Como guy. We were down south. We were more south. Oh, cheers! It's happy hour. So Horseplayers Happy Hour. Cheers to everybody. They're loading in the gate. I'm not going to call this. Do we listen to the call on Horseplayer Happy Hour? I don't know, Craig. Do we not? I'll turn my sound up for a second to see if I can find the answer to that question. Maybe we do. I think we do. It's Naira. We can. I can get away with it. I don't think they'll get mad at me. I think we can get away with it.
Waiting now for Father Glado.
We're going to get away
Good
with
rapport and Provision. Good rapport goes in. And one more to complete the 9-horse field, and that is number 9, Provision. He's in. Ready to go for race 3. And they're off, and it was a slow start for number 9, Provision. Oregano from the inside post out for the lead. Spetro quickly ranges up to challenge. So it is Oregano and Spetro. They are heads apart. Ghostly Prince down on the inside runs in 3rd. Father Glado in between horses in 4th. Good rapport in the clear on the outside in 5th. Length and a half. Provision has advanced up until 6th. Scotto is down at the rail and in 7th. And alongside is Mama Band Me. Trailing the field is Paratus in 9th. First quarter over the firm turf in 25 seconds. Up front, it is Spetro who leads here by a length, with Father Glado now moving into 2nd. Oregano runs in 3rd. Good rapport is next in 4th, 3.5 lengths off the lead. Then Ghostly Prince, who is down at the rail. On the outside is Provision, followed next by Scotto. Paratus has moved up a spot. Mama Band Me is last of 9. The half mile in 50-1. Spetro continues to lead here by a length. Father Glado in 2nd as Good Rapport now moves into 3rd. And the move of Good Rapport is followed by Provision. And on the far outside is Paratus, who is coming on. Down towards the rail is Oregano. 3/4, 115. And now they are in the stretch. And now Good Rapport is right alongside of Spetro. Oregano is looking for a way through. Spetro still the leader. Then Good Rapport, Oregano. On the far outside is Paratus, who is coming on with Provision. It's Provision and Paratus. Spetro now back in third. They come on for the finish, and it is, very tight. Very close ahead, Bob, between Provision and Paratus.
I'm going to call it. I'm going to say Inside Horse, which was an unbelievable run considering the 9 Provision broke a little bit slow. I'm trying to see who mentioned the 9 when we were talking about it in here. Let me give them a shout out. John Gaspar mentioned the 9. George Weaver. Look, I think that was the winner. I don't. The 7 ranged up. I just don't think he ever got his nose down. Let's see. I mean, I don't think he got his nose down. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, I feel very confident saying that was inside. I like to call a photo every now and then. Oh, he owns a small piece. Beautiful. Beautiful. John Gasper owns a small piece. He owns a 20%. And he got us. That's awesome. Chris Couples thinks that that we broke a record for how many people we had today. 247. Is that the final number for a Horseplayer Happy Hour? Someone text Pete and ask him if that's a record. He's probably on an airplane. Pete's not the kind of guy that gets Wi-Fi on an airplane, I don't think. I feel like he looks at it and he says, "Oh, 1999. I'm not gonna do that." I'm one of those people who has the I like pay monthly for Wi-Fi on the plane. I'm on a plane so much. So I like it's anyways, you didn't really care about that. But if you fly a lot, just do the monthly thing instead of paying $9.99 every time. It doesn't make a lot of sense there. Maybe we'll see here. All right, so it looks like the 9 unofficially 5-1. The 7 Paratus ran second. Manny Franco, George Weaver, kind of kicking off this week before Ascot. With a little bit of a surge in New York. I have a feeling George is already over there. I saw some pictures of Crimson Advocate already over there, so I'm assuming that George is over there. I can't wait to see him in a tail and with tails and a top hat. But what we're going to do now is we're going to jump to one of Pete's pre-recorded things. We'll watch that. It's about 5 minutes. We'll come back. We'll react to it, and then we'll hit his second one in time for race 4. So we'll go to Pete right now.
In our next segment, celebrating 40 years of horse players at the Breeders' Cup betting, as it were, we bring in one of our original listeners, man, we've been corresponding with, back since the DRF days. That's how far back he goes.
The place with the letters.
The place with the letters, exactly. He is horse player Ernest Hay Jr. Ernie, you've been recently retired. How has that affected your horse playing, a positive or a negative?
Well, I'll have to tell you that it has been. We had a great time at the Breeders' Cup. Okay, I didn't have a good showing, but life has gotten in the way of my handicapping. I did go to Vegas for the NHC. I had a good time, but didn't really make any moves. I was hoping to go to Keeneland in the spring and then maybe to the Monmouth contest. But life has gotten in the way, so it's sort of curtailed my handicapping. But I'm hoping things will settle down here. We had a kitchen renovation. I had a car that conked out, so I had to get a new car. And my mother just went into an assisted living. So it's been, life got in the way. But yep. I'm looking forward to the rest of the year.
Today, though, we're going in the way back machine to talk about a Breeders' Cup score. This one, I love this because we're getting to go back a few years, all the way to 2005, is it?
2005. Yeah, the distaff.
Tell us what happened.
So there was a horse that was named Pleasant Home, and it was a homebred, the Phipps family, Shug McGahee. And I was sort of following this horse because I seen the horse race in the Ballerina Sprint. And I think Happy Ticket was the big horse at the time. And I think it was a muddy track. Anyway, the horse ran second, closed way off the pace, ran second. So then I love the race that they use at Keeneland for a prep for the Breeders' Cup, which is the Spinster Stakes. So the horse was racing in the Spinster Stakes, and I think it was like 6-1 or something like that. And I did bet the horse to win, and the track was playing really slow, and horses were really struggling. But she made a nice move and finished second. So then I was waiting for that horse, and if I remember, I don't know if Shug was going to put the horse in the Breeders' Cup or not, but they were talked into it, and I couldn't believe that the horse was 30-something to 1. And back in the day, my money management wasn't as good as or it's different, so I was a win-play show better at the time, and I scraped up as much as I could to bet that horse across the board. And boy, when Cornelio Vasquez was riding the horse, and what a great ride, because they were in the 11 post. They were sitting second last, moved to the rail, split through horses, and won by like 7 lengths. And I was like, my jaw hit the floor, and I was so happy. It was a very nice score. And like I said, if I would know what I know now in the wagering with picks and things like that, it could have been life changing maybe. But that's red boarding. But it was a great score, and to have a horse that odds to win by those many lengths, it was a lot of fun to watch.
That was a great ride. Not easy to get that trip, getting over to the rail from that post for sure. Off air, you were telling me a great story about scraping together money and times where it would occasionally go too far. Your toll booth story. Share that with the viewers here.
So I grew up going to the Finger Lakes in the Fort Erie racetrack, and I'm not too far, about an hour away from the Finger Lakes. And there was no easy passes back then, so you had to go and pay at the tolls. And one of our things, all my degenerate friends, we always used to say, we got to throw a few dollars in the console of the car to pay the tolls on the way back. So it was one of my things. And when I took my nephews, they reminded me, I took them on a Labor Day to watch the races at the Finger Lakes. And they said, Uncle Ernie, don't forget to put the 20 in the console.
Tempted to bet that 20 otherwise, and it could lead to a very tricky trip home, trying to explain to the toll booth operator why you need to get through without
well, luckily I know the back way to get home too, so I can tell you that some of my friends would ask me for the car keys, and they'd be running out to the console before the last race.
The things we do in horse racing. Fortunately, there's days like Pleasant Home, getting home, that make the scrounging for the money in the console days worth it. Ernie, we love seeing your name on the leaderboard. We appreciate all your support here and across the In the Money network, and really love that you came on here today to tell us about Pleasant Home and that wonderful Breeders' Cup betting memory. We'll be talking soon, my friend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Horseplayer Happy Hour, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers, my man.
PTF. Okay. PTF. He always gets the good stories out of people, doesn't he? Look, the tollway. You gotta have the tolls. I think I remember, gotta listen back. But on one of my first early JK+1s, I had Duke Matisse on, and he told the story about how they had saved a couple of dollars to be able to get a couple of drinks, a couple of Cokes from the machine on their way back from one of the fair tracks. Maybe it was in Boston. I can't remember. And Paul kind of set me up to tell, Paul Matisse set me up to get Duke Matisse to tell the story about how they saved the money to get the Coke. They put the money in the machine and it jammed. They never got their Coke. They lost, didn't get the Coke. It's a tough game. It's a tough game. It's a tough game. All right. Pete's got one more story. And we got 19 minutes until race 4. It's also the start of the pick 6. If you're getting involved in that arena, And in fact, during this 5-minute thing, I'm going to make sure I'm going to single the one to get started in this pick 6. So I just got to look at the rest of the sequence. I haven't looked yet, but here we go again. One more time. PTF. I'm sure he still has on that yellow shirt.
Very happy to present the latest installment in our 40 years of betting at the Breeders' Cup. We don't have to go back that far for this one. And I'm very happy to bring in a woman. I could give her a lot of different intros, but I'm going to give her one she's not expecting. And this is hearkening back to the life-size cutout of Bret Hart that she had at her wedding. I'm just going to call her the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Jessica Paquette. What's up, Jess?
I mean, and a great t-shirt for this too, right? There are many things I love about you, PTF, but that you are deep down a wrestling fan. Like the Venn diagram of horse racing fans who are also like WWF fans, it is a circle.
It's about right. Give us your Breeders' Cup betting memory. This was one that we heard you give out on these very airwaves weeks before the event. So I can attest to the strength and quality of this pick.
So like most horse players, we're all just chasing that one good score that makes us forget every bad beat that we've had. And for me, what have you done for me lately? And that was Caravel this year at the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. Spectacular Breeders' Cup, spectacular couple of days. And she was one of my strongest opinions going into the week. And for me, it was a testament of trusting my eye and trusting my opinion and trusting what I know about actual horses. Because I know her form going into the race was a little questionable and a little bit suspect. But every time I saw this horse on the track, I said to myself, she's not losing. There's no way this horse is losing. She's just blossoming into an absolute beast right now. And it's easy to talk yourself out of kind of some of the wackier opinions, especially when it is just going back to like a gut instinct or something that your eye tells you that you can't quantify on paper. And I was all in on Caravel, gave her out to anyone who would listen, and she certainly repaid me handily.
Yeah, not too bad. What was your reaction in the race? If I'm remembering it right, it was Golden Pal who was supposed to be on the lead. He doesn't break at all. And meanwhile, there's your girl out there. I would imagine the confidence only grew leaps and bounds a few yards out of the gate.
And she's such a bold sort of filly. So I watched her get the lead and I went, oh, we have a real chance. And then as the race is going on, luckily it's a short one, so you don't have to sweat it out for too long. But you know, the further the race went, I went, oh, we might really be okay. We're really going to do this. I mean, I think I was watching the race with you, to be fair. And I'm not really like a really demonstrative sort of watcher of races. So I was kind of subdued about it, but then I was very smug. Smug is the word.
Smug is good. When you can be smug, when you give out the $87 winner to anyone who'd listen, you get that opportunity to be smug. And I think that point you made, even for like the hardest core of paper handicappers, if you have I'll call it a softer angle in terms of traditional handicapping, like a looks opinion, boy, when they're a big price, that's when you got to be super aggressive with that, especially in this day and age. I don't know if you heard, but I did a whole podcast with Marshall Graham about computer betting yesterday. And to me, it's more valuable than ever to be able to use any type of looks opinion to help formulate and make these wagers. I think that skill is one I would think more horse players would be trying to develop.
Some would be, and some, of course, just think I'm stupid, that I'm just a stupid horse. So
crazy horse girl. I don't know about stupid, but crazy horse girl will embrace.
Weird, oh, for sure. And I think that's the beauty of handicapping, right? Is that you can get to the same answer in a lot of different ways, and showing your work sometimes to me is the most interesting part of it.
You know, looks opinions for me are they're great, and it's hard unless you're, well, you do this on TV, giving an opinion before the race, but a lot of times it can seem kind of crazy afterwards. You see somebody pick a horse in a contest and you think, oh, they're throwing a dart because of the price on the board. Well, not necessarily. I mean, this is the kind of stuff. It's not that there aren't computer bettors also, by the way, who have people in the paddock looking at horses and are upgrading and downgrading based on that. But when you can, I call it the overwhelming intuition, a phrase I think I'm stealing from James Quinn. Few things give you the overwhelming intuition about a horse running well or poorly than being able to be down there and looking in the paddock. I would imagine you agree with that.
For them. And and I think that's a really important part, is understanding what they normally look like. So you're looking for change more than anything. There are going to be some horses just like some people. They're great looking, but there's not much there.
There's so many jokes you can make off that particular statement. But I want to ask you one more thing about Caravel. Do you think we have a chance to see a 2-time Breeders' Cup turf sprint winner in her?
In Brad Cox, I trust.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looked pretty good the other day at Belmont. A little disappointed not to get to see her over in England, but obviously they made the right call. Jessica, we enjoy your work on the microphone at Parks. We'll definitely have you back on for a fuller visit on these airwaves before the Horseplayer Happy Hour season is done. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Pete.
I mean, I thought for sure he was going to still have on the yellow shirt. He changed. I didn't think he was going to. He changed. He did. He changed. He went from the yellow to the wrestling shirt. Wow, Caravel. What can I say about Caravel? I'll tell the story quickly. We got 13 minutes until race 4. I'm going to single the one in the pick 6. If how many people are watching? Yeah, I'll just let you know what I hear. I text Chad to ask him if he was a single in the next race with a first time starter. If you're watching, I will share his response when he gives it to me. When it comes to Caravel is interesting because she was brought to my attention by Jake Ballas. Jake and Black Type Thoroughbreds. They tried to buy her. It was a couple of summers ago. It wasn't last summer, the summer before they tried to buy her, and he didn't get her. Bobby Flay bought her. And Bobby Flay strategically bought her, kept her with Graham Motion, so the original connections could still be around, still see the horse at Fairhill. And, she just never really found herself for Bobby, but I followed her all the time. And I had talked so, swimmingly about her on TV because I had followed her because of Jake. And I thought she could, at one point after she won it at Saratoga, I said, I think Caravel will win the Breeders' Cup turf sprint. I don't think she won another race after that year. She just kind of, she went to Woodbine. It didn't really work out. Whatever, just didn't happen. And then Qatar Racing got involved. They moved her to Brad Cox and things started to change a little bit. I singled her one day on the show, the Fox show at Saratoga. I singled her at Keeneland. I singled her on Derby Day. And then, of course, last weekend at the Belmont, I tried to beat her. And we all know how that went. And Jessica, obviously I didn't have her on Breeders' Cup Day when she was 40-1. And what's interesting about that, which is the interesting handicapping lesson, is sometimes, if you love a horse that's kind of been a pet of yours, I think you kind of have to, in certain scenarios, ask yourself, like, could something happen in which this horse could win? Because if I ask myself that leading up to the race, the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint last year at Keeneland, and I say to myself, if Golden Powell misses the break, then yeah, she could wire. Then maybe I could have used defensively as a saver. But I just thought her and Golden Powell were going to ding dong around there, and I thought that in that scenario that Golden Powell was better and that he would be able to kind of see it through. And man, he didn't break. She got loose and she was game. And she's been game. I mean, she was unbelievably game going 6 furlongs the other day at Belmont too. So Caravel, shout out Qatar Racing. Caravel, she is one special filly, and looking forward to seeing her. Hopefully, selfishly, I hope we get to see her at Saratoga this summer. Sheikh Fahad, he likes it up here, but he also likes it at Del Mar. So I guess there's a world in which she could make it out that way. But Brad Cox being here, I think we'll probably see her here. We've got 10 minutes to post. Let's look at the leaderboard, Craig. If we don't have to call you DJ Unstable anymore, do we? We can call you by your real name. I mean, I'm calling you by your real name. Whatever. Oh, look at that. The champ. Why is his name first? Is it alphabetical? Why is Michael Baychalk first? I mean, I love him, but I just want to know why he's first on the leaderboard. We don't have it up yet. Oh, Craig's getting ready. Oh, did you already pop it up, Craig? I switched. Oh, here we go. Michael Baychok. All right, let's see here. We got Baychok. Let's see who else we see here that we know. Francis Drew, a Matisse alum. Who else do we know in here? Let's see here. A little scroll there. A lot of people had the 9, huh? Let's see. John Gasper, obviously, he had him. He owns part of the horse. Rick Hammerly, the Hammer. Where's Hammer time? He's got the 9 too. He needs a 6 in this race. Who's scratched? So Hammer must have handicapped earlier today. All right. So we got a leaderboard working here. 247 people. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're rolling here, huh? Look, this is a great opportunity. You know, if you don't know how Horseplayer Happy Hour works, I'm not the one that's going to be able to explain it to you because I've kind of forgot the rules a little bit. But basically, I know this much, that you can accumulate points throughout the summer with your performances in these events. And there's opportunities because of how you perform to win the $10,000 seat. Oh, Craig, you're the man. I was going to just make Pete have to tell the rules. Let's see here. So there's playoffs. You just read that on your own. I'll mess it up. It's a good idea, though. This is a great idea that we had here. But anyways, as long as you're playing in these, you're helping charities. But there is a path into a couple of paths into getting a seat in the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. And it's not even close. The Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge is the best and most important handicapping contest in the world. And I know most people think that I'm saying that for weird reasons, and it has nothing to do with that. I thought that a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's the best contest. It's the biggest. It's a big dollar amount, obviously, which, you know, $10,000 entry, $7,500 that you're betting with, $2,500 in the prize pool. But the top prize is massive. And you're betting on the best possible races that you can in a 2-day span. It's if you've never played, it's super exciting. You know, the morning of, and then even like the Saturday morning when you're in the middle of a 2-day contest, it's just like you feel like you're alive for a score of a lifetime. And it's fun, man. Like seeing your name and seeing the other people's names. And there's just so many people in it too. It's such a big contest, you know. I will never miss that contest as long as I'm on this earth. And Chad texted me back. I'm trying to see where I'm trying to get clarification on that to share with you guys that are watching. But yeah, it's an outstanding contest. So make sure that you get involved. Race 4. Let's talk about race 4 a little bit here. Wow. Craig, he's so fast. I have to scroll away from the last race because I was looking at the pick 6. We are on race 4. Look, Linda got this horse on the rail, and the horse made a huge jump up. A lot of times when horses make big figure jumps, I need to there's got to be a big reason for the horse to make a big jump. And otherwise I just try to discount the races, like maybe they just kind of, you know, it's a bad number, you know. And we talk about speed figures all the time, and it's a science, but there is something to it. You know, Catch You Soon had some nice numbers previously at Finger Lakes, and then kind of started to tail off. But then when moved to Linda, kind of came back to those numbers. So I know the number's real because this horse has shown the ability to kind of run some of those numbers before. And I expect the horse to take another step forward. You know, Linda throughout her career, first off a layoff, 17%. Second off a layoff, 20%. So it's not a huge number, but I think there is an opportunity for a horse to take another step forward. So let's see if we have any questions, comments. Rob says he loves the new JK+1 season. Thank you very much. Dave Donk was fun. I don't know if you guys have seen the Dave Donk one I did this week. Very fun. Dave is a character. Very funny. All right. So there's a trust factor here for Chad in the next. Likes the horse, but first time starter, doesn't quite trust. Those win for him sometimes, the ones that he doesn't trust. So don't tell anyone. There's only 50 people watching, but don't tell anyone. But I think that, when he does, he loves them, they usually run to that. So let's see. Someone said Belmont race 3, the 2 horse is the lock of the day. Just kidding. Race is over. All right. So that didn't work out. Yeah. So look, I'm going to single the 1 here, who I think is extremely live. And, I was going to try to single Chad in the next race, but I guess I need to use another one. Someone in the comments, who else are you using in race 5? It's a pick and pray, so we don't need to talk so much about this race. This Ray Handle horse is interesting, huh? Let's see what Ray says. Let's text Ray. Let's just harass him a little bit. Let's say, you winning the next? Let's see how that goes. I don't know these connections this first time, sir. Maker gets Jose. That's interesting. Let's look at the double probables. Look, this is what this is going to be. We're going to just pretend like we're just betting all day. You guys will just have to deal with that. Let's see the double probables. Double. Who's the favorite in the double? Who's the favorite here? The 1. So the favorite is the 8, which I'm and the 8 and the 11. 7, 8, 11 are the 3 top choices. 7, 8, and 11 in race 5 is what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you weren't. Makes sense. 7, 8, and 11. Oh, this David Jacobson horse. Okay. All right. I get it. So just as a reminder, after this race, we will jump on with Vanessa Binney Ryle to talk about the Win and You're In races at Royal Ascot. So we'll run her through some of those races to help us try to figure those out. It's one of my favorite weeks. I love anytime you can get racing at 9 a.m. It's fun. It reminds me of being like in California or being in Vegas, and Gulfstream's first post is at 9:30 in the morning. There's something about that I enjoy. Let's make sure we're not missing any questions here. Let's see. What's the beverage, JK? This is I'm having one drink today, right? Like I'm flying in the morning. I gotta get up early. So I just made one like a Weller on the rocks, splash of bitters, and a little bit of simple syrup. My wife can make a mean drink, but she was watching some Real Housewives show. So I had to do this by myself. So, but it'll get me through. He said, I need the 2 at the 1 and the next use the 11. Okay. So someone said that she listened to the Dave Donk thing, and her husband has corrupted her by making her watch these, listening to racing stuff. Drew Coatney with a classy cocktail. It's not, yeah. We have a lot of access to good beverages here. Went to Slivo last night, 2 times 1 week. Just getting ready for the summer. It was delicious as always. All right, look, I got to be honest with you guys. If you have a problem with this, then we aren't meant for each other. I need to just make a quick adjustment to this pick 6. So I'm going to talk about it while we're doing it. 7. Ray did not text me back. about this first-time starter, or this horse that he has. Not a first-time starter. If he beats me, I'm going to be very angry at him. I'm just going to use the 7, 8, and 11. That's all I need, right? What the heck? Let's do it. Let's do it here. I can't believe Matt Bernier does this by himself all the time. Just stands and like, I feel like I'm talking in circles. Okay. All right. The pick six is in. I love the dollar pick six. My favorite part about the dollar pick six is that you can play it anytime you want to. When it comes to some of the other pick sixes, you got to have a mandatory payout. You got to have this to really justify it. But with the pick six in New York, you can play it anytime you want. Yeah. So look, I didn't talk about this race a lot because I really didn't have a strong opinion. Like I told you before, I think the one for Linda Rice, Catch You Soon, from the inside, tactical speed with Jose, should send away from there, should be able to get position. A horse that's won at Belmont before. Don't underestimate that. Horses that run well at Belmont run well at Belmont. Horses that have run well at Aqueduct run well at Aqueduct. There is not, you don't have to be both horses. Kendrick Carmouche once taught me about a Michael Dubb horse that I'm going to forget the name of now, that really loved Aqueduct, but did not run well at Belmont. Just didn't like the big sweeping turn. So as the last couple jump in here, we will go to Johnny I. I think that's whose voice it was, Johnny I. I need the one. I try to do the like Greg Wolf or Lafitte and like really lay out to the announcer, but it didn't work. Maybe this time. With the call of the fourth, let's go to Johnny I. Nailed it. Kind of.
And they're off. And they all came away to a good beginning. Catch You Soon from the rail has the early lead here with Happy Farm not far behind and racing in second. Then comes Emerald Forest and Wayakin. Wayakin takes third. Emerald Forest is in fourth. 24 Mamba is next in fifth. And the two trailers are Lost in Rome and Lafitte's Fleet. It is the favorite Catch You Soon down at the rail, leading by a half length. Happy Farm is in second by a length and a quarter, and Wayakin runs in third, opening quarter mile 22 and 4/5 seconds in their midway around the far turn. Catch You Soon on the inside, Happy Farm on the outside, and now the two of them are right together, and they've got 2.5 lengths on Wayakin in third, then Emerald Forest, followed by Lost in Rome. Down at the rail, 24 Mamba, Lafitte's Fleet is at the back. The half mile, 45 and 2/5 seconds. It is Catch You Soon and Happy Farm, and they are right together at the 3/16 pole. Catch You Soon on the inside, Happy Farm on the outside. And looking for a way through here is 24 Mamba, who is now down at the rail and gaining. Lafitte's Fleet is also gaining ground far outside. It's Emerald Forest, but it is 24 Mamba who has the lead, and it is 24 Mamba who gets the victory here under Joe El Rosario.
Feels like they went a little quick. Just kind of fell apart. The top two, both horses that were bet. You know, it's one of the things I think when you're watching races back, you can look at is when you're trying to identify if a race fell apart or not. When two horses that are bet are forwardly placed and they both kind of fall out the back, it leads you to believe that they likely the race fell apart a little bit. Michael Baychuk, when we looked at that leaderboard, I remember he had the 3. Daniel Edwards, the 3. Dyrell Parker, D Parker. Let's just say D Parker. Joseph McKay, Michael Bailey. Ooh, I like that. Michael Bailey, you're a man after my heart. I love the old same pick on almost all the races, change it up on a couple. He's got, he used the 9 on both entries. He used the 3 on both entries. In the next race, he's got the 3 on one, the 8 on the other, the 9 on one, the 5 on the other, And then he has the 1 on both, the 7 on both, the 10 on both. It's my favorite strategy. I love it dearly. Just play your top horses, and sometimes you got to change it up a little bit. I like that Michael Bailey. That's nice stuff. And then Greg Kingma, Robert Courtney, Scott McGovern, Lou, my man Lou, sweet Lou. Yeah, there's people a lot of people hitting this 3-horse. So we'll see what happens next. We'll go to the champ. He's got the 2 in race 5. Michael Baychok, 2 in race 5. All right. I wonder is Vanessa close? So we can talk about this. I don't know where she's at. She's not here yet. That's all right. She's coming. We were texting. Oh, there she is. There she is.
Hello.
Hello, Vanessa.
Mm.
How are you?
What's the plan? Stand by. I'm hoping you can hear me. If you can, then you've just got my dulcet tones.
I got you. Can you hear me?
Can I hear you?
I hear you. Check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I was on better form at your wedding, JK. I still can't hear you, so I can just hear you laughing. I can just see you laughing.
Okay.
Hang on.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll work through it. Try the little settings button. You can usually do some magic with the settings button. Well, so I'm going to tell you, while Vanessa's fixing her audio, I'm going to tell you a funny Vanessa story. So I met Vanessa for the first time last Breeders' Cup. Pete knows her from his work in the UK, and so we go to our Malone's deal that we do with our friends at TaylorMade, and Pete had Vanessa work with us that night, and we had so much fun. She was hilarious. And then her and my wife, fiance at the time, really hit it off. Lots of jokes, sharing screenshots, just lots of funny, laughing, carrying on. So, we all became friends. My in-laws invited Vanessa to come stay in Saratoga. And then this year at the Derby, we linked up again. And I don't know. She still can't hear us. We linked up again. Yeah. I got you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Why can't I hear you?
I don't know. We can hear you. So we had a couple of people that couldn't make it. And so my wife says, we should invite Vanessa to the wedding. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And so that was the weekend of the Derby. We got married May 29th. And within that 2.5-week period, 3-week period, Vanessa came to the wedding, and she was a great addition to the wedding. So, but she can't hear us though. I don't know why. Okay. Yes. Check. 1, 2, 3. You got us?
Can you hear
me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Craig is like, we can hear you. Now we can't hear you. Now Craig
we can hear
asking,
you.
Is your tab unmuted?
We can hear you. You got to change your settings to.
How do I unmute my tab?
All right. So while she's doing that, we're going to talk the Queen Anne.
This is fun for everyone, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. The Queen Anne, modern games.
Why don't I just start talking about Royal Ascot? He's giving me a thumbs up. Okay. Right. I am revved for Royal Ascot. Just so everyone knows, I'm very overexcited. We've done a lot of talking about this over here. And I genuinely think it's going to be a very above average year. I'm not just saying that. I think we've just got some really competitive races over all divisions, all distances, older horses, younger horses, everything. And the 4 races JK wants me to talk about are, of course, the win and you're in races. So we have the Queen Anne Stakes to kick things off on the first day. And this is where we get to see a Breeders' Cup favorite in modern games in terms of his profile. You guys over there know this horse well at this stage. You've seen him twice over in America, winning the big races over there, and for the Godolphin Appleby team. Like, the thing is with this horse is, I know he's won Group 1 races all over the world, right? And he's obviously a high-class individual, but this doesn't feel like the best renewal of this race to kick things off on the first day. And at the moment, he's put his head above the parapet in terms of older milers. But now he has to take on Inspiral, who's had this long layoff. We saw what she did in the Coronation last year. Frankie Dettori. Imagine how hyped Frankie's going to be for his last Royal Ascot, and his first ride on the first day is on Inspiral, taking on Modern Games. And the excitement that will generate in the crowd with him, I think, is going to be huge. The question with her is, how ready is she going to be? Everyone inside the camp is like, yeah, we're good to go with her. And she's got a great off the break record, but she is hit and miss with her profile. She's just one of those fillies that doesn't always bring her A game. If she brings her A game, I think she beats Modern Games, but Modern Games is your like solid bet. And you know that as long as he gets through the season, he'll tip up back at the Breeders' Cup, won't he? I would have thought. I say won't he? I still can't hear JK. So JK is just like, why don't you respond, JK, with like, if you agree with these statements, if you don't agree with these statements, or if you're a bit like, whatever, I don't know what I'm talking about. So essentially, if you want a solid bet, Modern Games, he's going to run his race. But if you get beat by Inspiral, you can't be annoyed because you've been beaten by a horse who we know has an excellent level of form. It's just a case of whether you trust her to bring it on the day. Look at her in the paddock beforehand. That's a great shout with her. Like, how does she look? Is she ready to rock and roll? All of that will come into play. So maybe she's like a last minute bet on the day. She's currently about 7-4 over here on the anti-post market against Modern Games, who's 13-8 at the head of the market. And then if you wanted like a lively outsider, what about a horse like Chindit in there? Chindit's just this solid, older miler. And he put it up to Modern Games in the lock-ins. And I think he's probably overpriced at 10-1 because you only need Modern Games or Inspiral to not show up, more likely to be Inspiral, in which case Chindit will pick up the pieces. So for me, if you just want a solid start to the week, Modern Games, but as an each way outsider chance, Chindit is the way to play it. How do you feel about that, JK? Oh, a solid thumbs up. Okay. Shall we? Isn't this fun? This is a fun way of doing it, yeah? I don't know about that, but anyway, we'll just plow on here. King Stan next. Are we doing King Stan next? That's our next win and you're in race for the Breeders' Cup. And here you get to see a favourite in Highfield Princess. Favorite by that sense, I don't mean she will be a favorite in terms of the betting. I just mean in terms of a bit of a fan favorite. And of course, Highfield Princess came over to Keeneland last year to run in the sprint. Didn't quite happen for her, did it? But like, she is a solid sprinter. She's won those sprints in France, England, Ireland. She came to America. Wasn't really her day, but you wouldn't put it past her to show up in just as good a form at Royal Ascot for the King's Stand as she was in at the back end of last season. She had that brilliant comeback run at York where she finished second. That was a solid effort, giving weight away all round. But in the King's Stand, she's going to have to take on this Aussie horse, Coolangatta, the filly, a 3-year-old, well, a 4-year-old really. And Coolangatta has won the Lightning Stakes. She comes in here with all the hype, and this whole like Aussie sprinters in at Royal Ascot is obviously a huge angle in. It's what everyone wants to play. And the word on the street, like all Aussies are, full of confidence about Coolangatta. So if you follow, does anyone out there follow Australian racing very closely? Everyone's saying that the Lightning Stakes is the race to win, to come here and to be able to transfer it to Ascot. But what about dramatized? Like, dramatized ran a blinder over the Breeders' Cup last year as a 2-year-old. She's come out this year. She's won at Haydock. She's on the improve. At Haydock, she was on the right side of the track. That's the only thing I would say. She got a good draw. She was on the right part of the track. There was a draw bias, a pace bias, and it all played into her hands, and she looked impressive that day. This is a big step up for her, for sure. But she's a 3-year-old filly, and if it's like we know where Highfield Princess is, and she's top of the market, Dramatized is coming up like this. Like, where does she meet? You know. And then you've got Coolangatta thrown in there, and they're the top 3 in the market currently. I'm definitely going to have I say this confidently. I'll definitely back Dramatized on the day. I just think she's a filly we haven't seen the best of yet. And Carl Burke's enthusiasm for this filly is relentless. And I just feel like there's more to come from her. Is there enough to bring her up to Coolangatta and Highfield Princess? We'll find out. But I think at around like 5, 6, 7 to 1, whatever she might be on the day, she's definitely going to be a way for me to get stuck into this race. That's the way I'll be playing it. And then, of course, because she ran so well at the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland, you'd expect her, whatever happens, to show up back this year at Santa Anita. That would be the aim with her for sure. Shall I move on, JK? Okay, onwards we go. Prince of Wales Stakes, another win in your in race over the 10 furlongs at Royal Ascot. Now, a minute ago, this was being stressed as like the race of the meeting, but we don't have Desert Crown, the Derby winner from last year, the Epsom Derby winner from last year. Bit disappointing. So instead, at the head of the betting, we've got these 2 older horses, Luxembourg and Adayar. Now, Luxembourg got a brilliant tactical ride from Ryan Moore when we last saw him win the Tattersall's Gold Cup. Adayar has had a lower key start to the year, but he's back on track and he's back winning, of course, the Derby winner a couple of years ago as well. So both of them are 2 to 1 at the top of the market in terms of the anti-post. I think there'll be a clear favourite on the day, and I think the clear favourite will be Luxembourg, unless there's a lot of sudden confidence behind Adayar. But the horse that I think will shorten and should not be discounted is My Prospero. We just, over the 10 furlongs, there's still more to come from this horse. Again, a bit like my angle in with Dramatized, I'm hoping for a slightly bigger price on the basis that I'm looking for them to step up. But I'm confident that My Prospero will. He was a really unlucky horse in the St. James's Palace last year, 12 months ago. He ran on Champions Day, again, showing that there's more to come over the 10 furlongs. And at around about maybe the 7 to 2 marker, he'd be the horse for me in here against the others, because we know what we've got with Adayar and Luxembourg. Ryan will try to give Luxembourg a similar tactical ride. Baybridge will need the ground to have a bit of cut in it. Dubai Honor, international traveller, but is he up to this? I don't think so. So it's sort of like once you whittle it all down, you get down to My Prospero at the prices anyway. In terms of it being a win in your in race for the Breeders' Cup, I don't really see these horses being in that. I don't know. I'd be surprised if these horses travel. But who knows? Who knows what will happen down the line? It's still going to be a terrific race, but My Prospero is my angle in with that. You happy, JK, with that? I mean, I'm not sure he's happy with my audio, but he's happy with seemingly what I'm saying. So I have got a suggestion from Craig here, who says, right click on the Chrome tab, see if it says muted. So stand by.
Wow.
No, it doesn't say muted.
Okay. All right. Almost.
Sorry. JK's talking and I wish I could hear him, but I can't. So we'll just plow on. I tell you what we're going to plow on to. And now this is going to be fun because I actually need your angle in here. Because, of course, the next race is the Norfolk Stakes. We're going to talk about the Norfolk Stakes. And this is a win and you're in for the juvenile sprint at the Breeders' Cup. And this is where we get to see the clash. The American take on a fancy British horse here in elite status. So American Rascal's coming over for this. Now, okay, let's do some sign language, JK, because this is what we've got here, yeah? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you think American Rascal is? Really? 9. Wow. Okay. Right. The performance at Keeneland on debut, on a scale of 1 to 10, what did he beat in behind that day? Was it literally just a rout because they weren't that good in behind, or what was he beating? Like, put it into some context for me on a scale of 1 to 10.
He beat the clock. He beat the clock.
The clock.
He ran fast.
I got it.
He beat the clock. Yeah, you nailed it.
Very fast. Fast clock. So fast clock, bred for it, as we know. Wesley Ward. But Wesley Ward would sell Santa an Arab, right? So you chat to him and I'm just convinced he's going to win. So it's like, okay, he's going to win. There's no point talking about it anymore. And then you get back in your car and you have a think and you watch Elite Status and you're like, no, he's convinced me he's going to win again. And now I'm convinced, but is that the right answer? I don't know. Elite Status, I can talk more about Elite Status. Obviously had the 2 runs, so fraction more experience, wins the National Stakes. Now, National Stakes, I'm not sure that form is actually going to stack up to that much, just as an FYI. But Elite Status, the way he goes about it and the way Carl Burke talks about this horse, Carl rarely gets it wrong. When he thinks he's got a really good one, he's rarely off the mark. And he talks about this horse as if like this is the race and he's going to win it. So I love this. It's a real matchup. Brit taking on the American, and a Wesley Ward horse as well creates so much hype over here in England. And so it's just brilliant. I'm really looking forward to this. It's pretty rare that you would say that one of the races you're most looking forward to on the whole of the Royal Ascot card is the Norfolk Stakes, which is the first race on the Thursday. But it really is. If they both get here, it's going to be an absolute belter. I, as a Brit, am going to side with Elite Status. You guys are all going to side with American Rascal. And in we go together. Time of our lives. Can't see what it is. Oh, American flag. Okay, well, it would be wrong for me to come on here and just shout about American Rascal, right? Like, I had to give Elite Status a shout out. Should also add in that Carl Burke he's a great man. Have you ever come across Carl Burke, JK? No? Negative? He's a great guy, great trainer, but he loves the Breeders' Cup. He's really got into it. He brought a few horses over last year. Do you remember, obviously, Dramatized being one of them? And he is rev for it. I said to him, mainly because I need someone to have a party with me at the bar, but I was like, but we'll be back next year, won't we? And he was very quick to tell me that the team is going to be bigger and better for next year. And so Elite Status, whether he goes down fighting to American Rascal or whether he wins and he's into the Breeders' Cup, I very much expect him and a raft of other Carl Burke horses to be on the plane over to the Breeders' Cup. So that is my summary. This, I'm not going to lie, has not been as fun as what I thought it would be, mainly because I'm just talking to myself. But, onwards and upwards, team. Like, you got to make the most of these things. Do we know if anyone's enjoyed this? Like, what's the feedback going on there? It's a thumbs up. Great. Yeah. And now, last on a scale of 1 to 10 question. Oh, no, can I have two? Okay. Question 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy me being at your wedding? I've really taken a while to get over it, by the way, just as an FYI. And now, final question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you looking forward to me coming over for Saratoga? Whisper it quietly.
You're wild.
Right.
You're
okay.
wild.
I'm done, right? This has been great. Goodbye. I'm so sorry. I'm a professional.
You're fine. You know what's funny is I could talk the whole time and I didn't even talk, which is okay. All right. We're a couple minutes late here. If you stuck around long enough, I will tell you that Ray Handel said he likes his horse here. That's my going away gift for you. It's been a lot of fun, and thank you everyone for participating. Thank you for supporting Horseplayer Happy Hour, TAA, TRF. Like I said, there's a charity aspect to these contests that we're going to do every week. PTF will be back next week. I don't know. He might get fired after this. What's that? Who's the baseball player who like got hurt and then he never got to play again because of someone better? Someone will type this in pretty fast. I know I'm not a baseball guy, so don't get mad at me for not knowing who that is. It's not Lou Gehrig, right? He's famous for something else. Okay, I can't. Well, you guys will just tweet it at me. Was it Mickey Mantle? No, I don't know who it was. Somebody. Anyways, hopefully, we'll just fire Pete and I'll just do this from now on. We'll just do it. I'll stay here by myself. Wally Pip. There it is. Wally Pip. Wally Pip. Yeah, I'm going to Wally Pip Pete here. Anyways, thank you all always for all your support, for everything we do at In the Money Media. Thank you to the Breeders' Cup. Thank you to Haley Amos. Thank you to, there's probably a lot of people I'm supposed to thank, but Pete didn't give me the list of who they were. So until then, race 5, pick 5 at Belmont if you're playing that. May you win all your photos.